I was always drawn to the shadows, the hidden corners of the digital world where secrets lurked. As a hacker, I thrived on the thrill of uncovering hidden truths, unraveling encrypted mysteries. But nothing could have prepared me for the encounter that would forever change my perception of reality. It began on a cold, moonless night. The pale glow of my computer screen illuminated the room as lines of code danced before my eyes. I was knee-deep in a particularly challenging encryption when the first anomaly occurred. A faint whisper, almost imperceptible, tickled the edge of my senses. I shook it off, attributing it to fatigue. But as the night deepened, the whispers grew stronger. I strained to hear, my fingers poised above the keys, ready to type. The words were elusive, fragments of a language I couldn't understand, like echoes from a forgotten realm. Panic set in, my heart pounding in my chest, as the whispers seemed to seep through the walls, surrounding me. I forced myself to focus, determined to regain control. With every keystroke, the room seemed to vibrate with an unsettling energy. The air grew heavy, charged with an otherworldly presence. My screen flickered, displaying distorted images that made my blood run cold. It was as though the very fabric of reality was unraveling before me. In a desperate attempt to regain control, I initiated a series of commands, hoping to trace the source of this paranormal intrusion. But the moment I hit enter, the screen went black, leaving me in a suffocating silence. Panic surged through my veins as I fumbled for the power button, only to find it unresponsive. Suddenly, a chill gripped the room, colder than any winter's night. I could see my breath forming misty clouds in the frigid air. My eyes darted around the room, searching for any sign of what was happening. That's when I saw her. A figure stood at the edge of the room, bathed in an eerie, bluish light. She was ethereal, with long, tangled hair cascading over her shoulders, obscuring her face. Her tattered white dress billowed around her, as if caught in an invisible wind. My breath caught in my throat, my body paralyzed with fear. The figure turned slowly, as if aware of my presence, though her face remained hidden. Her movements were disjointed like a glitch in reality. It was then that I realized I was not alone in this digital nightmare. She was a specter from another realm, a lost soul seeking refuge in the digital world. My mind raced, trying to make sense of the impossible. How could a ghost infiltrate the realm of ones and zeros? Was this some twisted manifestation of my own creation? A virus of my own making? Questions swirled, but there was no time for answers. The figure glided closer, her spectral gaze fixed on me. I could feel her presence, an icy touch against my skin. Her whispers grew stronger, intertwining with the pulsating hum of the computer. It was as though she was trying to communicate, to bridge the gap between our worlds. With trembling fingers, I attempted to type, to respond to her desperate plea for connection. The keys clicked beneath my touch, but the screen remained stubbornly blank. Frustration mingled with terror as I realized the futility of my efforts. I was trapped in a nightmarish limbo, a prisoner of the digital realm. Time seemed to blur, the minutes stretching into an eternity. The figure's presence never waned, her silent vigil a constant reminder of my powerlessness. And then, as suddenly as it began, the room plunged into darkness. I was alone once more, the only sound the rapid beat of my own heart. The weight of the encounter pressed upon me, leaving me shaken and disoriented. I stumbled from the room, leaving behind the silent computer, a beacon of the unknown. As the days passed, I tried to rationalize the experience, to find a logical explanation for the impossible. But deep down, I knew that I had crossed a threshold into a realm beyond human understanding. The digital world was no longer a sanctuary. It was a gateway to the paranormal. From that day forward, I treaded cautiously in the realms of code and encryption, forever haunted by the memory of that spectral encounter. The boundaries between the digital and the supernatural had blurred, leaving me forever changed, forever aware that there are forces beyond our comprehension, lurking in the shadows of the digital world.
The night was as still as death. The only sound echoing through the empty house was the faint hum of my computer. I sat hunched over, surrounded by the eerie glow of the screen, lost in the depths of the internet. It was a place few dared to venture, the infamous deep web. Curiosity had always been my vice, driving me to explore the darkest corners of the digital realm. Tonight, however, my recklessness would be repaid with a terror I could never have foreseen. As I delved deeper, the pages grew more obscure, the content more disturbing, but amidst the chaos, a name kept recurring like a sinister whisper in the shadows: the abyssal web. It was a place beyond the reach of conventional browsers, an enigma shrouded in mystery and dread. I felt a strange compulsion, an irresistible urge to uncover its secrets. With trembling fingers, I accessed the forum that claimed to hold the key. The interface was archaic, the text written in an ancient, cryptic script that seemed to defy translation. It felt like I had stepped into a digital crypt, a place where the darkest nightmares of the internet resided. My heart raced as I navigated further, each click taking me deeper into the heart of this malevolent labyrinth. I stumbled upon a thread, its title a jumble of numbers and symbols. The messages were a grotesque collage of disturbing images and cryptic messages, a language only the denizens of the abyssal web could comprehend. Then, a reply caught my eye, a message that seemed to pulse with a sinister energy. You seek answers, but do you have the courage to face the truth? It was signed with a single word that sent a shiver down my spine: Spectre. A sudden sense of foreboding washed over me, but my curiosity was a torrent that could not be stopped. I sent a hesitant response, a mere whisper amidst the cacophony of the abyssal web. Yes, I seek answers. The screen flickered, and a new message appeared, bearing an attachment. It was a file named revelation.exe. Without thinking, I downloaded it, my trembling hand guiding the cursor to the ominous icon. As the program launched, the screen was engulfed in darkness. A low, guttural hum emanated from the speakers, filling the room with an oppressive weight. Then the shadows coalesced into the form of a figure, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. I am Spectre, it rasped, its voice a discordant symphony of whispers. You have entered the abyssal web, and now you must face the consequences. Fear gripped my heart, but it was too late to turn back. Spectre's gaze bore into my soul, exposing my deepest fears and insecurities. It knew me in ways I could not comprehend, an entity woven from the very fabric of the abyssal web itself. With a gesture, Spectre conjured images before me, visions of unspeakable horrors that tore at the edges of reality. I could feel my sanity fraying, my mind on the precipice of collapse. Your curiosity has led you here, but knowledge comes at a price, Spectre intoned. You are now bound to the abyssal web, forever entwined with its darkness. I tried to scream, to break free from this nightmarish reality, but my voice was lost in the void. The room seemed to close in around me, the walls dripping with malevolence, and then, with a final chilling whisper, Spectre vanished, leaving me alone in the suffocating silence. I was trapped, a prisoner of the abyssal web, condemned to wander its twisted corridors for eternity. As the days turned to endless nights, I became a mere ghost in the digital abyss, a hollow shell haunted by the horrors I had witnessed. The boundaries between reality and nightmare blurred, and I could no longer distinguish between the two. Now all that remains is a warning, a plea to those who dare to tread where I have been. Beware the abyssal web, for once you enter, there is no escape. It is a realm of darkness and despair, a place where curiosity leads to damnation, and the price of knowledge is your very soul.
It was a moonless night, the kind that casts the world in shadows and shrouds every familiar corner in an eerie mystery. The hum of my computer filled the room, the only sound in the otherwise silent house. I sat hunched over my desk, bathed in the pale glow of the monitor, fingers dancing across the keys in a rhythmic ballad. I was a hacker, one who thrived in the dark corners of the digital world. Tonight was no different. I was on the brink of infiltrating a highly secure network, the adrenaline coursing through my veins as I pieced together the puzzle of encryptions and firewalls. But even as I reveled in my own skill, a feeling of unease gnawed at the edges of my consciousness. As the minutes ticked away, the tension in the room seemed to grow thicker. The air grew colder, the shadows seemed to creep closer. I shook off the feeling, attributing it to nothing more than an overactive imagination. My focus returned to the screen, my fingers moving with practiced precision. Then, it happened. A flicker of movement at the corner of my vision drew my attention away from the screen. I turned to face the dark expanse of my room, heart pounding in my chest. There, in the shadows, I saw it. A figure, tall and cloaked in darkness. My breath caught in my throat. I froze, unable to tear my gaze away. The figure seemed to sway, as if suspended in a sinister dance. I couldn't make out any features, only the sense of a malevolent presence that seemed to seep from every pore. I blinked, thinking it was a trick of tired eyes or the play of light on the walls. But when I opened them again, the figure was closer, its presence more palpable. Panic surged through me, threatening to drown out rational thought. In an instant, my instinct to survive kicked in. I slammed the laptop shut, cutting off the glow of the screen and plunging the room into total darkness. My heart raced, the pounding in my ears deafening. I fumbled for my phone, the cold plastic familiar in my trembling hands. With a desperate swipe, I illuminated the room in the harsh glow of the screen. The figure was gone. I scanned the room, breaths ragged, searching for any sign of the intruder. But there was nothing, just the remnants of my hastily abandoned workspace and the oppressive silence of the night. Fear settled in, cold and unrelenting. I knew what I had seen, and it was no mere hallucination. The figure was real, a spectral presence that had materialized in my room. The implications were too horrifying to contemplate. I stumbled out of my chair, my legs weak and unsteady. I needed to leave, to escape this place that suddenly felt like a malevolent trap. I grabbed my coat and bag, fingers fumbling as I shoved my laptop inside. The thought of leaving it behind was unbearable. It held the key to my digital existence. As I made my way to the front door, every creak and rustle seemed to echo through the silent house, magnifying my terror. I flung the door open, the cool night air rushing to meet me. I stepped out into the empty street, the world beyond my doorstep bathed in a ghostly pallor. I didn't look back. For days, I tried to make sense of what had happened. Was it a warning? A manifestation of the dark forces I had tampered with in my pursuit of knowledge and power? The questions haunted my every waking moment. From that night on, I swore off hacking. The digital realm held terrors far beyond my understanding, and I had glimpsed them firsthand. The memory of that figure, of its insidious presence, would forever be etched into my mind. And as I lay in bed at night, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of knowing that somewhere out there, something lurked in the shadows, waiting for me.